This is an example how small bubbles getting pumped off the fuel rail, they because they're so small, they don't get forced through the return line until they finally all combine to get big enough, and then they get shoved out of the fuel rail. I mean, out of the return line, back to the top of the tank. It's an interesting thing where this follow this back up here to the fuel rail, and that hose that's on the bottom, that's actually going to the fuel filter. I mean, fuel pressure gate, sorry. So if I turn it off, what happens is all of a sudden a whole bunch of bubbles get squirted up, and I think a lot of those bubbles are coming back up from the pressure sensor. So they go back up into the line when I cycle it on and off. This area of the line right now, right here, is actually empty. So if I turn it back on, it forces fuel through it, and a whole bunch of bubbles, get forced out of the line. So it seems that that the cycling from high to low pressure kind of causes a lot of extra bubbles to be forced out of the system. So I think after several probably flights, a lot of this air will be out of the system. At least the ones on this line. I think eventually that line to the fuel sensor, every time I do this, it gets a little fuller of fuel. Eventually it'll completely full, and the air that's in it right now will be evacuated. And yeah, no biggie, just an interesting feature, I guess. Yeah, as you can see, the level is almost reaching up, so that tube going down to that fuel pressure sensor is almost completely filled. A couple more times of this and it'll probably be gone. So you can see the fuel, the bubbles creeping up from the left to right. Yeah. Interesting feature.